Hey guys, Deathslayer Magic here, and I figured this is the perfect time to go over the most expensive cards from War of the Spark. I know a lot of people would have already gotten their booster boxes by now, but you're probably still pulling cards at F&M, and more importantly, trading singles at F&M. Or in the McDonald's parking lot at 1:30 in the morning. And let me just say, a lot of the prices changed a lot more than you think. Of the cards, not McDonald's. So the number one card is actually Liliana Dreadhorde General. No big surprise here, she was pre-ordering pretty high, but I want to say she was like 20 something and now she's straight up 35 flat. Now I am using Card Kingdom full retail near mint, pack fresh prices because looking stuff up on eBay is tedious. Oh, and TCG player, don't even get me started on how inaccurate their ridiculous stats are. Well, judging by how ridiculously devastating Liliana is on Arena and how perfectly she works with Death Trigger decks, oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, 35 is appropriate. I traded Kefnet and the Explodey land, I think it was, for a Liliana at the pre-release, and yeah, I guess that worked out. So next up, number 2 spot, a little bit of a surprise to me. I mean, not power-wise, but casting cost-wise. Nicol Bolas Dragon God. He's $28 currently, and I mean, yeah, he's crazy good, but look at that casting cost. But then again, people play Niv Mizzet, and we're really close to rotation, so, there's fixing. Next up, it looks like I might have spoke too soon. It's God Eternal Kefnet for $25. I don't believe it was that much formerly, but shocker, is it decks are coming back? Who could have ever predicted that? I mean, besides me, during the entire spoiler season. And it's also not just in that, it's also in Esper stall decks sometimes. So yeah, being in 2 decks, being that powerful, being flying with that kind of attack power, I mean, why not? So yeah, it's currently sitting at 25, which, I mean, is high, but it's a mythic and it's good, and it's also really, really good in, like, commanders, so I get it. So will it come down anytime soon? No, because it's flying. Next up, another no surprise one, Gideon Blackblade, $19. That went up significantly since the pre-order. I want to say he was barely breaking 10. I don't know, my memory's not that great. But yeah, the fact that you don't have to activate an ability to make him an indestructible 4/4 is pretty nuts, and then his other ability just keeps you alive. I mean, it's either vigilance, so you've got a blocker, or it's lifelink, so you can, go the opposite direction, stop losing. And then, hey, an indestructible attacker ain't no joke either. His -6 removal is crazy too, and the fact that there's very narrow ways to get rid of him is really nice. So overall, just absolutely excellent. I think the only thing holding him down is the double white, but, good. I wouldn't want him in a 3-color or 4-color Super Friends deck. And in the number 5 spot, we got God Eternal Oketra for $16. Very, very, very good card. I think this is around where it was pre-ordering. I think it went up a little bit. And just going up at all from a $10 and up price means, yeah, they were right. It was popular. And, I mean, people aren't absolutely playing this like crazy. I think I've seen it in like a Divine Visitation deck as like a backup for Divine Visitation, but it's only on creature cast, not ETB, so you got to build it a little bit differently. But personally, I put I think 1 or 2 copies in my mono white deck. It's a little slow for it because it's in a Johnny Pridemate just blitz deck, but it's kind of like Lyra. You drop it in and it just wins the game hopefully by itself single-handedly. So any card that can do that, I mean, not only is it automatically a commander card, but it's just good. It's powerful. Next up, not a big surprise here. Once again, Teferi time Raveler. I do believe he was a little bit lower because he's not that good of a card, but what he does in the deck he's in is insane. I am so pissed off in mirror matches with this guy, and to call it a mirror match wouldn't be quite right. I'm not playing the same garbage they are. I'm playing Esper Super Friends with medium control. They're playing Esper Super Friends with a lot of control and less friends. The decks couldn't be more different. So anyway, he is a $12 rare. I do believe that makes him the most expensive rare in the set, which that is actually a little bit surprising. But I mean, $12 for Teferi when he's a 4 loyalty 3 drop. I mean, it makes sense. Those colors are already popular. And then there goes anything at instant speed. So your spells, as long as he's in play, cannot get countered. There is no way to do it except the Siren, I guess. There's probably 1 or 2 other ways in Standard, but, it's pretty narrow. And then his -3 is nice because it's just card draw. And then you could +1 him every turn. Why not? And it does nothing and nobody uses it, and who cares? But the constant upticking and the threat of the -3 is annoying. And I mean, the bounce effect is pretty damn annoying too. So just all around, he's weak, doesn't win the game, and does next to nothing. But in Esper control, holy crap. Extra cards and everything resolves. Are you kidding me? So yeah, $12 seems appropriate, but boy, watch for this to crash when it cycles out of standard, because I don't think it's good enough to be in anything else, not anything real major. Next up, we got Ilharg the Raze-Boar. I don't think I've played against this card once on Arena, so I have no idea why this is so expensive. I mean, I've seen some mid-range red decks, but he's not in them because it's all flying dragons, but okay, whatever. So it's an $11 giant trampler that's devastatingly powerful. So, I mean, okay, I get it. Like I said, I haven't seen it. I mean, every single time he attacks, you may take any creature card with no limit from your hand, drop it into the battlefield, tapped and attacking. They at least should have said with power less than or equal to, the Raze-Boar himself. Or like a mana cost 7 or less. You could get out of control with this thing. Yeah, it costs 5 and you could still blow it up, whatever. But I just don't like it. It's basically free casting. But then you get to return the creature to your hand at the beginning of the next end step, which means it's kind of like that, Fate Reforged ability where you like drop it in, swing, and bring it back. It was annoying and effective. Annoyingly effective. And then basically it can't die, and it has the same ability as an Egyptian god zombie. Wow, what a coincidence. It's so transparent, it's ridiculous. So yeah, this is good. It doesn't strike me as honestly even good enough for most standard decks, but somebody's putting it somewhere because $11 ain't no joke. Next up, this is a little surprising, but cards like it are very expensive. So okay, it's Finale of Devastation. You can search your library and or graveyard. That's huge, by the way, the graveyard edition. For a creature card with converted mana cost X or less and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. Effects is 10 or more. Creatures you control gain +X and gain haste until end of turn. That is game winning. So if you can get that high of a mana cost, you just win. So besides that being utterly devastating for 12 total mana, it's free casting and it's kind of like a free tutor, except it's not because you have to pay for it. If it costs 5, you have to basically pay 7 for it. But you get to auto draw it whether it was put in your graveyard or your library. So I kind of like this card, even though it is kind of free casting, because it's not. You aren't just paying 2 and getting a 12/12 out of it. I kid you not. I'm realizing right now I'm describing Ghalta. That was completely inadvertent. But for the record, I hate that card and it should have been banned like a year and a half ago. There's so much removal right now that it just isn't even relevant. I don't care. I hate that card. So this Mythic is sitting at $10, which is surprisingly high, but a lot of these like tutor, bring it out, fetch, and even like the +1 evolution, go get something bigger style cards that like tutor and drop it in. They're notorious for being very played in a lot of formats and being very expensive. So I don't know. Somebody must be doing something degenerate with this, going to get something. Don't even know if it's standard or another format because I don't really watch other formats and I haven't seen somebody play this in standard. But I mean, the effect is powerful. So yeah, I get it. $10. That's probably about appropriate. Hey, speaking of green cards that are unbelievably, ungodly overpowered, got Eternal Ronus for also $10. He's got Death Touch and he's a 5/5 for 5, so that's already pretty good. When he enters the battlefield, double the power of each other. Oh, sorry, did you forget to put the word green there, wizards? Each other, I don't care what color it is, creature you control until end of turn. I mean, seriously, they should have put green creature at least to pump the brakes a little bit. So those creatures gain vigilance until end of turn, so that's a safe swing no matter what. I mean, unless they settle you, but hey, when he dies, put him back in the library and you can never get rid of him. So, I mean, it's not quite a one and done because then you got a 5/5 Death Toucher, so hey, and you'll probably have won the game. I mean, vigilance and double the power. I mean, it doesn't grant trample. That would be ridiculous, but still. This card is nuts. And the last card, which by the way, this is kind of like a 3-way tie for 7th place. Karn the Great Creator, also at $10. Now, this is like shocking because this card is virtually unplayable in standard, but I don't think anybody's playing him in standard. A lot of people are speculating on him and causing the price to go up exclusively because of some crazy combo in other formats. But I think the other card costs like 5. I think it's Mycosynth, I don't know, whatever. And this one's like 4. And then you have to like get them both into play and have them not get destroyed. I mean, good luck. Like it's really gimmicky and dumb, but it is devastating. I'll give you that. So if you're unfamiliar, activated abilities of artifacts your opponents control can't be activated. Okay. I'm actually wondering if that includes mana abilities, because I think those are considered activated abilities and they didn't specifically exempt it. And then +1 until your next turn, up to 1 target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact with power and toughness each equal to its converted mana cost. So turns it into just a vanilla artifact creature, pretty much like a 5/5 for 5 or whatever, so that's pretty fair. And -2, you may choose an artifact card you own from outside the game or an exile, reveal it, and put it in your hand. Now, that's pretty cool. On top of it, he can do it multiple times. So, I mean, go get Marvel, go get some kind of portal gateway card. There's multiple. Go get the artifact cloner. I forgot what the hell that thing is. That thing's annoying. And I was going to say there's a lot of wild stuff you can do in Commander with them, and I'm sure there is, but that -2 ain't going to help you. I mean, it does not say your library, and I don't believe you can have a sideboard in Commander. I don't know. Maybe there's some ruling that says outside the game means literally outside the game, but only in Commander. Who knows? So his ability's cool, the +1, but like, do you drop him into an all artifacts deck? Well, then what's the point? It doesn't really do anything. The only deck that I've ever played against that I know this would be good is the Spray Painter deck, where you turn people's permanents into artifacts and then immediately blow them up. That was a pretty fun deck. But if you're not familiar with the combo, Mycosynth, it actually costs 6, turns all permanents into artifacts as well as their other types. Ouch. So those are the top 10 most expensive, and boy are those high. I mean, for $3.99 a pack, those are some high prices. The one that I am unbelievably surprised about, one that I haven't seen it in play at all, which is shocking, and 2, that it's not more expensive, Spark Double. That is crazy. You can duplicate anything. Creature, Planeswalker, Legendary, doesn't matter, and you get a bonus counter on it for 4. That is absolutely insane. Literally the only thing keeping this from being absolutely bonkers, and by the way, I misquoted the hell out of this in like 10 videos, it's not an instant or sorcery, it's a creature. So Ral decks that do Izzet stuff and clone spells doesn't really work with them. I mean, getting like 2 Rals would be kind of cool. Getting 2 Drakes for free would be cool, but Quasi-Duplicate does the same thing. Well, at least with the 2 Drakes, and then you can do it twice. So the fact that you can't duplicate this and it's meaningless in your graveyard, yeah, I think that's what's holding it back. But still, you should be able to do something with this. Like, get out 2 Boluses at once. Even in Esper, nobody's doing that. I don't know why. I guess because once you have 1 out, you're probably going to win the game anyway. I don't know. This card is still hyper powerful and still $2.50. But I have the strangest feeling that especially after rotation, this card might go up. So keep your eyes on it. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys can not get trade sharked, and you'll know when to celebrate excessively when you open a pack for prizes at F&M. I'll see you guys next video. Yong out.